Hi guys, Kirk and Jason here with Kirk Giordano Plastering. Today what I'm going to show you guys something I see a lot of. This tin flashing tucked underneath the existing paper. Now we got a real old home here, about 90 years old. What I want to point out to folks is I get this question asked a lot, and the guys say, well, should I put flashing up? And my response is always, if it makes you feel any better, because flashing sometimes can wiggle up a little further. Generally, something like this, I tell folks, if you want me to waterproof it and guarantee it, take it to the top. Then I can guarantee my work. If you're just having this done right here, and granted he has tin over a heavy felt, I'm going to put 2 more layers underneath this and put my screed under here. But for fellas like me, if we're going to watertight something this old on a 90-year-old home, we prefer to take it to the top, but most folks don't do that. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to go ahead and screed this, meaning I'm going to take my screed and go underneath that flashing, put some paper in it and wire it. Actually, this wire here too, where we got these big clinkers, should be cut off and just thrown down. And another tip too, guys say, how come you always wear gloves even when you laugh? Because these, when you cut these, they're little razor blade sharp edges, and I've poked myself a few times. Anyhow, for the sake of what we're doing here, I'll get back to my explanation. All right, say we got this 90-year-old paper, which is not in bad condition. We try to slide our paper under there. It's so brittle, it won't go too far. But if you're sliding tin, here's the idea. There's no staples holding the wire here. Back when they did this, they used burring nails. So this wire is seen, this is an odd wire for stucco, but I've seen every type of wire you could know. All right, so you're shoving this tin flashing in there. You will hit a nail. The question is when. So the idea is they put the tin flashing in there, and they're going to hit nails here and there. When you hit a nail, well, you're simply not going to go any further. So that's what they've done here. And over the years, I've seen this about 30 times. And again, I tell folks, if you're comfortable doing it, do it. But usually, best way is take it all off, or we shimmy our single paper under here and then double it up. So anyway, I thought I'd point that out because I do see this pretty often, and it's a common question I'm asked. As far as our screed, where do we put that? Well, this screed is going to go underneath this existing flashing. Right here where the diverter is, this guy here is a diverter. The water comes here and it diverts it into the gutter. So I'm going to be back of the diverter, and I always like to go above the roof by about 1 inch. Anyway, when I get to that stage, we're doing this whole roof, but for just the sake of showing you what I'm talking about, I'll just do this one area here. Jay had a good point. He said, show how thin this tin is. Look, with a hammer tacker you can go through it. They don't have any staples in it, they just have it wedged tight. But I want to also point out while I'm here is, see, the roofer, he did a real nice job. He used this heavy membrane, and then of course he used his proper step flashing. My job is to counter his step flashing. So now that I'm all lifted up everywhere, I slide this screed inside here. And you try not to get stabbed by all this metal. That's the most important thing. I want to just go at least 1 inch. This flashing has got to come over their step flashing. That's the most important thing. So that's priority over everything. That if water does go through here, we want it to drip out harmlessly through these drip holes. So that's about where I want to be. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide 2 more layers of paper under here, tuck this wire back down, and put a little bit more wire. And I'll show you that part, because even though they got this tied under here, the existing paper, we're supposed to have 2 layers, not just one heavy felt. So I'm going to take care of that real quick. Okay guys, we got my 2 more layers of paper under here. Now I'm going to tack this, actually it looks like a wire for a fence. It's pretty heavy gauge. Then I'm going to put this guy right here, and got to keep the fur in the right direction. So here's what we're doing. Right over this other heavy gauge wire. Then generally what I'll do is cut it out, And just for the sake of showing you what I'm referring to, I'm going to stop this right here. I'll show you what, and you can get the idea of the rest of the stuff. Okay, so we're tacked down here. Where the wire comes past the drip screen, we either bend it up or tack it down. Then we come in here with our screed, tack it off, and I will do this for the rest of it. Here I'm going to cut this wire out, and I'm going to put a fat bead of polyurethane caulking under here, because the water's going to hit this belly band and it's going to have a tendency to want to come here and drip straight down. However, with a windstorm, 3-day windstorm, we're pretty high off the ground, it can push it in here. So even though they're under this key, I'm going to go ahead and use a polyurethane caulking there. So we get this done. We do the whole thing just like that. Simple if you know how to do it. Anyhow, my name's Kirk. I'm with Kirk Giordano Plastering. Thank you folks for watching. And as usual, we'll see you guys on something else.